If you've been on social media lately, chances are you have seen some really insane beauty hauls. They're out of control. Or even if you're not scrolling TikTok or Instagram, chances are you know someone who does, whether it's a friend or a granddaughter, a daughter. And it's so important to remember that what we see online is at best a carefully curated highlight reel of someone's life, and at worst, very deceptive and misleading. And when influencers present this as normal, it can warp our perceptions. So today we're going to be diving into why consuming content like this can actually be super harmful. And a lot of it isn't even real, which we're going to be breaking that down as well. So if that sounds good, let's go ahead and jump right in and get started. So I've been watching beauty hauls for years, dating back to probably 2010, 2011, when they first started gaining popularity. And around sometime in 2015, 2016, we really saw hauls explode. Influencers would show off these elaborate PR packages that they would get in the mail, these mountains of products. And for most of us, I think it was just fun to watch. It was a curiosity, wondering how it must feel to get showered with all of these PR gifts every day. And I wasn't immune to it either. When I started my channel in 2018, I myself started doing PR hauls once I got a little bit of traction and I started getting things from brands. But in 2020, something shifted a little bit. The world had shut down, people were reprioritizing their lives, and posting all of this free stuff that you got just seemed a little bit cringy and out of touch. And as a result, I noticed the views on hauls starting to go down post 2020. I think the novelty of it was just wearing a little bit thin. It wasn't a curiosity as much anymore as it was just kind of annoying to watch these people open up all of this free stuff. So now there's a new trend that's taken over haul culture, and this is arguably more harmful. Instead of showing how much free product they're getting, they're showing how much they can afford to buy. Influencers are dropping hundreds and thousands of dollars at stores like Sephora and Ulta. And when I first saw some of these, my jaw hit the floor, and I'm used to seeing hauls, but these are on another level. I watched several of them in both horror and fascination, and I think it's that combination of emotions that they're trying to bring out in people to get more clicks on these videos. But make no mistake, these are not the hauls that we were watching on YouTube years ago. These are carefully curated, calculated hauls that are meant to bring out certain emotions in us, and they're actually quite deceptive if you pay close attention. So I wanted to break this down today and let you know what to look for, because the more we watch content like this, the more normalized it becomes. So let's start with the first one. This is actually the tamest they get. They just get crazier from here. This one is actually titled Mini Haul. So I think that's the first red flag. So we're starting out the video with 3 bags from Sephora. By the way, I'm not going to play sound on any of these videos that I'm going to show because they do have copyrighted music in them, and I'll end up getting demonetized over here. So I'm just going to kind of talk over them. So here we see that this is the mini Sephora haul part 1, and she has 3 full bags from Sephora, and she's just gonna go through this one. So first we have the Cheirosa 68 spray from Sol de Janeiro. This is $38. Then we have the Glow Recipe Watermelon Bronzing Drops at $35. The Patrick Ta Blush Duo, $38. The Ilia Face Milk, this is $58. Next is the Refi Clear Lip Gloss. This is $20. Then the Ilia In Frame Brow Gel. This one is $24. Makeup by Mario Matte Eyeshadow Palette, $52. The Honey Leave-In Conditioner, $34. Ilia's Serum Concealer, which is $32. The Summer Fridays Butter Lip Balm, and this is $24. Dior's Rosy Glow Blush at $40. And this Sol de Janeiro mini set, which is $32. So the total amount in this mini Sephora haul, and just the one bag, was $427. A quick look at the comments, and everybody is questioning the word mini here. And I don't blame them, because that's exactly the thought that was running through my head. If this is a mini Sephora haul, what does a big one look like? I scrolled pretty far through the comments, and every single one basically said something about that. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm glad that people are calling this out and realizing that it's not normal, but there were also some comments that I felt like were really sad. The very top comment said, "Is this mini or am I poor?" There was another one that said, "How do you get the money for all of that? Y'all, I'm broke and I need help. P.S. I love this, it's so aesthetic." And then another one said, "The fact that you said mini makes me realize how broke broke I am. And that's the one for me that I think really hit home, because these types of videos are normalizing this type of spending, when in reality, the vast majority of people cannot afford a haul like this without going into debt. Yet this has people in the comments questioning whether they make enough money, whether they're poor because they can't afford to shop this way. And it seems like it's making people feel inadequate, not to mention it might kind of encourage or push someone to go into debt trying to keep up with this type of a lifestyle, when the reality is this just does not represent the average person, not even close. But now it gets worse. The next one is titled $4,000 Sephora haul. And you see several bags sitting on the bed. I think I counted 11, but it's hard to tell. And this one just blew my mind, because what else would you do with your rent money? Groceries are so overrated. Who needs health insurance when you've got new skincare and blush and perfume? I mean, what is this and why? I'm fully convinced that this is rage bait. Showing things like this brings out a really strong reaction in people, and that is exactly what they want. They want the engagement, whether it's positive or negative. They just want views and comments on content like this. And one thing that people don't realize is that if they would just click off right away when they see something like this and not give it the views and attention, they would just go away. People would stop filming them and profiting off of them. But unfortunately, it's like a train wreck that people just cannot look away from, and they're just morbidly curious about, how does this person spend so much money? What do they do? There's so many comments like that on these videos. And even though there are some negative comments as well, and people calling them wasteful and that they shouldn't do this, these creators don't care, because anything shocking or extreme these days is what gets the most views, and that's just the way it is. They don't care that they look out of touch. They don't care that they're influencing young, impressionable people to try to spend money this way. I think it's especially harmful to teenagers, a lot of whom are watching TikTok because they haven't had a job yet, they haven't had a mortgage or been in the real world. They don't really know the true cost of things and living on your own. And I think if they did, they would realize that this is not normal. $4,000 is more than a month's mortgage or rent payment for most people. And most jobs are also not going to pay enough to afford all of the basic necessities that you need in life and drop $4,000 at Sephora all at once. It's the 1% lifestyle, and if you go on social media, it seems like way more than 1%. It just seems like everybody is doing this. But in reality, only a small fraction of people actually are. There's a lot of deception that goes into some of these videos, which we're going to get into next. So let's check out this next one as a good example of things not always being what they seem. So the first screen, I'm just going to pause it here, starts out with a caption that says, "Him, you can't spend $3,000 in Sephora. Me, watch me." Again, it's kind of like a challenge. She's kind of starting a little drama with her husband right away to get people interested. Then in the next screen, she quickly flashes the receipts. And I actually paused this and I zoomed in because I was curious to see if she actually spent all of this money in one day, or if maybe this was 3 separate Sephora hauls that she ended up putting together. So we're going to take a closer look at the receipts in a minute, but let's just quickly go through the video. She goes about unpacking all of these bags and laying it all out, showing everything she bought, and it's just so much. Like, there are multiple shades of the same product. I think I counted like 19 or 20 lip products in total. Why? I don't know. She's squirting the products out. There's so much skincare in here too. I don't know who is going to use this much skincare all at once. It's usually not a good idea to introduce a bunch of new products at the same time in case you might react to something. Plus, there's so much gift sets. It's just really excessive and kind of hard to watch. So back to the receipts, I did notice that the date was the same on all 3 of them. It was July 17th of 2024. So I started thinking, okay, why does she have 3 different receipts? Why not just buy it all at once? It would make more sense than going back up to the register and buying more and more and more. But then when I looked at the receipts a little more closely, I noticed that one of them was purchased with a Visa card, and then the other 2 were purchased with Amex. So that was a little bit telling that they're spreading it out over different credit cards. Either there wasn't enough available credit to put it all on one, or they might be trying to spread it out so that the bill on each credit card isn't too high if they have to make a minimum payment. But no matter what the reason is, it is quite possible that this person is not as well off as they want you to think. And I could be totally off base on that. It might not be the case at all, but another reason I thought of for the 3 different receipts is if she might be planning to return some of this. Sephora does have some rules in place when it comes to returns, and I think it would look really bad if she just returned a whole bunch of things on one receipt, because you know when you go into the store to return something, they usually mark up the receipt and circle the things that you returned, and then they staple your new receipt to the old one. So I think if she returned like a few at a time and had to keep bringing back that same long receipt, it would be obvious that she was making a lot of returns. But if you have them on separate receipts, you could bring a few things back from the one receipt and then a few days later maybe return some things from another one, and it looks like it's kind of more spread out and it's not as obvious to the salespeople. It's also possible that this person may have opened up separate Sephora accounts. All you need is an email, and then that way she won't get her account banned because each receipt is from a different Sephora account. She could have gone up to the counter, bought some things, gave them a certain email, and then went back, purchased some new things under another account, and then so on and so forth. And again, this is under the assumption that she's not keeping all of this and that a lot of it is going to be returned. I know this is really common with clothing influencers as well. They'll try clothing on, tuck in the tags, take photos or video or whatever they're gonna do, and then they just return it back to the store. So the bottom line is you really can't always take these hauls at face value. There's definitely a reason for the 3 receipts. I'm just not sure exactly what that is, whether she's planning on returning a lot of it or just needed to put it on different credit cards. We don't really know, but there's something about this haul that really just didn't add up to me. Let's take a look at another one. This one starts out with 5 Sephora bags stuffed full of products, and it just says huge Sephora haul. There's no amount, but we'll get to that. So basically in this video, they just start dumping everything out, and it's almost like when my son dumps out a bucket of Legos. That's how much care went into it. You literally have thousands of dollars worth of high-end products here, but let's just dump it out. Who cares? Then she proceeds to put everything into this organizer, which is of course aesthetically pleasing to look at and watch, but I'm gonna call something out here. I think, and this is just my opinion, that a lot of this looks like PR. I'm willing to bet that maybe she bought a couple of things, but is also padding her haul with PR. This account has 1.8 million followers on TikTok, so she's 100% getting free products from brands. And when you look at what she quote unquote bought, it's a lot of stuff from the same brands, and it just screams PR to me. So for example, all the Drunk Elephant stuff could be from one big PR package or several that she's gotten over the past year and just hasn't had a chance to open yet. The Huda Beauty stuff, I recognize that as a lot of the products that I've gotten from Huda Beauty in the past year. I've gotten several packages with her powders, color correctors, concealers, and those are the things that she was showing in here. Ask my sisters, I've given them a bunch of that stuff because I don't need all of these duplicates. Same thing with the Dr. Jart stuff and all that Benefit stuff. I recognize that too because I'm also on Benefit's PR list, and they sent like the mascaras and the setting spray. I got a bunch of that this year as well. And again, this is just an observation. It's alleged. I'm not saying that she did this. It's possible she did buy it all, but I know that I got a lot of those products in PR this year, and an account as big as she has, she probably did too. I'm sure she's on their list. So why would you need to buy these products when the brands are sending like multiples? Because I know I'm a much smaller account and I've gotten multiples of these products this year. So it doesn't make sense to me that she would be buying them with her own money. And the other thing that also screamed PR to me was the way that she just dumped it all out like very carelessly into that bin and was just sort of smushing it all around. It just seemed like she didn't really care about it. There were comments saying that they added up everything she showed and it was like $6,000 worth of products. You would think that you wouldn't be just dumping it out like that if you really spent your money on it. And just looking around my room now, I have bins right on the other side of the camera with tons of PR, and I could easily fake a haul like this. If I just had some old Sephora bags, I could just fill them with all the PR and pretend like I went shopping, but I wouldn't do that because I just feel like it's so cringy, and yet her viewers are totally eating this up. I looked at some of the comments, and one of the comments said, "Wish I could do a huge Sephora haul. I want to, but I can't afford it." Another one said, "I bought a $20 moisturizer from there last week and thought that was expensive. Once I graduate, I'll be able to afford this." Another one says, the amount of joy I would get from this, or my dream, I swear to God, I need your income. Like, they just go on and on. It's so sad to look at these comments, especially the one that said, I'll be able to do this once I graduate. It's like what I was saying before. I don't know if they really understand how much money they're going to make and how much the cost of living is. It's really not likely. To spend that kind of money, you really need to be in the 1% or getting yourself into some serious debt. But the fact that that commenter thought that they can graduate, get a job, and start spending money like this makes me really scared for the future generations, especially if they're watching things like this and assuming that this is normal. And if this is truly just PR and faked for the cameras, that makes it even worse because it's essentially normalizing this type of spending, but it's not even your own reality. And like all of that drunk elephant stuff, that's gonna go bad before she even gets a chance to use it. There were multiples of the same product, and those do not have the longest shelf life. So not only is it excessive, but it's just really, really wasteful at the same time. Another sign that a lot of these hauls could be faked is if the bags don't look quite right. And I noticed that in this video here. She shows 3 Sephora bags that are absolutely crammed full of products. And when you shop at Sephora, they don't actually look like that. I worked there and we were never supposed to pack bags like this. We were supposed to use a bigger size if someone bought a lot of products. Or if for some reason we were out of the bigger bags, we would give them smaller ones, but we wouldn't fill them like this. These are absolutely bursting and about to break, and I'm not gonna go through this whole video. She doesn't even show all of the products anyway. It's just too many to go through. But I would be willing to bet money that this person just had some empty Sephora bags at their house and filled them up with some PR that they already had at their house. I mean, it is possible that they did shop there and bought a few things, but I just don't see a Sephora store packing bags like this. And I noticed that one commenter even said, is your Sephora being stingy with their bags? So it's definitely not just me that noticed that something was off here. And I think this influencer probably figured that nobody would notice. And not talking about this person in particular, but just in general, when you see these Sephora hauls, it is possible that Sephora is even paying creators to do these. It's actually a very common practice when it comes to sponsored videos. Back when I used to do sponsored videos, which I no longer do, I worked with Walmart a couple of times. And they basically told me, we're gonna give you a couple of $100, just go to Walmart or go online and order a bunch of things, pick out whatever you want, and then share your haul. And they literally told me that they wanted to do it that way instead of sending me random things that they thought I should talk about, because when I'm doing the shopping, it looks more authentic and it's more relatable to my audience if I am able to choose the products that I wanna talk about. And to their point, I do think that's more authentic, because if a brand is just sending you things and you have to talk them up and say how great they are even if you don't like them, that's a problem. But if you're going out and buying things that you would buy anyway yourself, then I think that is a more authentic way to do a haul. The problem is that over on TikTok, a lot of people are not disclosing these types of hauls and not saying that, you know what, Sephora actually gave me a gift card to go and purchase all this stuff. So again, I'm not saying that any of the ones that I showed today were doing this, but it is something to keep in the back of your mind when you're seeing these hauls. It could be PR, or it could be that the brand is actually paying for it. Here's another example. This one is in a box, so it must have been an online order. And the first thing that struck me was how organized the box looked. I'm sure most of us know when ordering online, the products usually come all like scattered around in the box. They're not neatly organized like this. Now, just giving the benefit of the doubt, this person might have gone ahead and just organized the box beforehand just so that it looked nice going into the video, but right away there's already some type of curation there. Another thing that I noticed about this haul is that there were some weird comments and things that didn't necessarily make sense. This video was posted at the end of October 2024, just a couple of months ago, and one of the comments said, but the sale, and they were referencing the Sephora VIB sale that was set to happen on November 1st, only a few days later. And it's actually a very valid question. Yes, why didn't you wait a couple of days and do your Sephora haul when you could get 20% off or 15% off? And the creator replied, I bought these at the end of September and finally edited the video with a crying emoji. So, okay, maybe that is the case. It definitely leaves room for the possibility that these are just products that have been hanging around for a while. She's just getting a chance to edit the video. But I found it especially convenient that she's posting it just before the Sephora sale starts. Because to me, it means that she's hoping people will click on her links and then she'll earn money from everything that they buy during the sale, which is coming up in a couple of days. Now, just for those of you who don't know, affiliate links that creators link in their description box have cookies attached to them. So when you click on the link, it can have cookies that last anywhere from a week to 30 days. And what that means is you click on the link, it attaches a cookie to your device. You go, you look around the Sephora website, you leave, you go to other sites, then maybe a few days later, you go back to shop the sale. Well, that cookie is still there. It remembers that you clicked on that person's link, and then everything you buy from Sephora in the next 30 days, that creator is going to get the commission. So getting back to the video, there was actually another comment that she responded to, and she said that most of what she bought were Christmas gifts. Now, if that's the case, as we're going through the video here, you can see that she actually opens and swatches the majority of the products. So while maybe some of the sets towards the end of the video might be Christmas gifts, I think it's a big stretch to say that most of them are Christmas gifts, because clearly most of it was actually for herself, unless she's planning on giving people gifts that have been swatched already. Not to mention, remember she said she bought all of this in September. I know people do their Christmas shopping early, but I would say most people are not thinking about Christmas gifts in September. Plus, knowing that the Sephora sale would be coming up soon, why not just wait until then to buy them at a discount? Now, this is the part of the video that was sort of the clincher for me. I felt like something was really wrong here. Notice this Sephora candle sampler set. This looked very familiar to me because I got this last year. They come out every November, and it's a set of 5 mini candles that you can try, and then you get a gift card with it to go back and purchase the full size of whichever candle you happen to like the best. I got the one from last year, and this is the same one. It's the same outer packaging, the same candles are in it, and the chances of this still being around in September, almost a year later, are really low. I mean, yes, it's possible she might have gotten it on clearance, maybe Sephora didn't sell out of them, but usually these are very limited edition sets and they're gone pretty quickly. A lot of people like to give them as gifts. And we know it can't be the one from this year because, like I said, they come out every November, and this year, as far as I know, they didn't even do one. So I just felt like there were so many contradicting stories going on with this haul that didn't really make sense or add up. So when you put them all together, it seems like something isn't quite right. She posted it in October, but bought everything in September, but most of it is Christmas gifts, yet she swatched almost all of it. To me, it seemed like this was manufactured content just designed to get those clicks in right before the Sephora sale. So these were just a few examples of some of the extreme hauls that are all over TikTok and Instagram right now, and they actually seem to be growing in popularity, which is really scary. I could show you so many more, but this video could just go on forever. And like I've been saying throughout the video, normalizing these types of hauls creates so many different issues. It makes them seem achievable for the average person. It promotes overconsumption and waste, which I really didn't even touch on that much, but a lot of this has to be going straight into the landfill. It also encourages people getting into debt and spending money that they don't have. And personally, I think it just devalues the products themselves. The way that these creators just dump everything on a bed. Here's another example that I wanted to show you. This person just dumping all of this stuff out into a big pile like it's garbage makes it seem like it's just a bunch of stuff that they got from the dollar store rather than spending thousands of dollars on. These are expensive luxury products that so many people would be really grateful to have and would definitely treat them better than that. So I would love to hear your take on these hauls. Have you seen them? What are your thoughts? Do you have friends and family members that watch this type of content? I'd love to hear from you down in the comments below. And if there's another topic like this that you'd like to see a video on, please let me know that as well. I want to thank all of you so much for taking time out of your day to spend it here with me. I really, really appreciate it. If you have some extra time and you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like this, I'll put one right up here that you could check out next. Thank you guys. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in my next one. Take care, guys. Bye.